Welcome to an overview of how plans are implemented in Denver. My name is Courtney Levingston, and I'm a city planner with Denver's Department of Community Planning and Development. In this video, I'll talk about what happens after plans are adopted. If you watched our video on neighborhood planning, you know how it works in Denver. Community members come together to talk about the future of an area over the next 20 years. They talk about shared priorities, things like cleaner air and safer streets, more small local businesses, or a better variety of affordable homes. The result is a plan, a shared vision for the future that combines citywide policy with local neighborhood needs and that helps inform decisions about the neighborhood over time. In Denver, we start with Comprehensive Plan 2040. This plan has the overarching vision for the future of Denver as a city that is inclusive, connected, and healthy. Next are the citywide plans that focus on a single topic, like parks or transit, and build off of the vision set by Denver's comprehensive plan. Blueprint Denver is a citywide plan that addresses buildings and land use. Neighborhood plans take all that citywide guidance and refine it for specific neighborhoods or areas. But a plan is not the end. It's just the beginning. Once a plan is adopted by Denver City Council, what happens next? How do plans turn into actual building projects or community programs? That is plan implementation, which takes the recommendations in the plan and puts them into action. Putting plans into action can be done in a variety of ways. Implementation generally falls into three buckets. It may look like new zoning rules that ensure new buildings and uses fit with what is recommended in the plan. It may look like new infrastructure, such as intersection with new crosswalks to make it safer to cross. Or it may look like new programs and resources, such as technical assistance for local businesses or job training, so neighborhood residents can get the jobs that are available close to where they live. Here are some examples on how we have implemented plans in Denver. Blueprint Denver, the city's land use and transportation plan, was adopted in 2019. It called for revising rules on how many people can live together to reflect modern housing needs, be more inclusive, and allow more residents to share housing costs. After Blueprint Denver was adopted, the Group Living Project brought community members together to work on an update to the Denver zoning code that would put this recommendation into effect. The process resulted in broad changes to rules for households, community corrections facilities, shelters, residential care homes, and newer uses like tiny home villages. As a result, splitting your rent or mortgage with roommates now is a lot easier. Care facilities that support vulnerable populations, like assisted living for older residents or shelters for those who are unhoused, have simpler, more predictable rules to follow. Another way plans are implemented through rules or regulatory actions is through rezoning. Rezoning, or a zoning map amendment, changes the rules for the types of uses and buildings allowed on a given property. A legislative rezoning is led by a city agency or city council members and usually covers a large area. During the West area planning process, residents ask for safe, welcoming places that they can walk or roll to easily. After the West area plan was adopted, Denver's Community Planning and Development Department initiated a legislative rezoning. Planners met with the community stakeholders and property owners to explain exactly how the zoning rules would change. The process updated zoning rules in key areas so that new buildings serve pedestrians better and encourage street activity. By implementing the plan this way, we can ensure that future development results in the kind of places that the community called for in their neighborhood plan. We've talked about how regulations implement plans. Now, let's talk about infrastructure. In the Elaria and Swansea Neighborhood Plan, adopted in 2015, locals described how the railroad tracks made it hard for kids to get to school. After the plan was adopted, additional work was done to turn the plan vision into an actual building project. The Department of Transportation and Infrastructure, or DOTI for short, conducted a study and determined that a bridge was the right solution. From there, DOTI developed a cost estimate and budget for the bridge and figured out how to pay for it. Voters approved a general obligation bond package in 2017 that included $9.4 million for the bridge. A grant from the Colorado Department of Transportation and Denver's Capital Improvement Fund also helped cover the cost. With funding in place, the city hired designers and engineers to design the bridge. They also gathered input from the community the bridge would serve. The bridge was open for use in 2020. Finally, plan visions can become reality through new programs and services, or through the expansion of existing ones. The East Area Plan recommended supporting small local businesses by expanding and adapting the city's Business Opportunity Fund. This fund helps small businesses with grants of up to $15,000 for unexpected expenses and/or technical assistance, with things like negotiating a lease or bookkeeping training. To make this happen, the city partnered with Mile High United Way to implement the program using federal funding from the American Rescue Plan. The result is that more small local businesses in the plan area can stay open and upskill and continue to serve their communities. Planners work with residents and keep them involved throughout the planning process to ensure the community's needs and desires are reflected in the final plan. After the plan is adopted, community members can stay involved and help guide how the plan's recommendations are implemented. You can provide feedback on new rules recommended by the plan. You can participate in public infrastructure projects like updating rec centers and parks or new trails and bike lanes. You can take part in the People's Budget, which lets residents in areas with recently adopted plans pick actual projects to fund. You can contact your local city council representative to ask them to include funding for plan recommendations in the city's annual budget. That's just a quick overview of some of the ways that plans are implemented in Denver. If you want to learn more about new rules and projects coming out of plan recommendations, you can visit the Neighborhood Planning website. Thanks for watching, and please check out our other videos on different aspects of city planning in Denver.